high within the misty cloud forest, where ancient moss-covered trees rise into drifting white fog. A fragile life waits in silence inside a pale blue egg hidden deep within a hollow trunk. In this cool and enchanted world, a young Quetzal named Quetzal begins its story, sheltered by damp moss, filtered sunlight, and the quiet devotion of a watchful parent. Morning mist rolls across the branches as the egg rests motionless in its nest, touched only by dew, wind, and the distant rustle of leaves high in the canopy. A golden beam of sunlight pierces through the forest and falls across the smooth shell, warming the tiny life inside as the rhythm of the cloud forest continues around it. Then, at last, something changes. A tiny crack appears on the shell, so small it could be missed, yet powerful enough to signal the beginning of a new life. The crack widens slowly as the chick pushes from within, and soon a tiny beak breaks through, followed by the first desperate effort to enter the world. With one final struggle, Quetzal emerges from the shell, wet, trembling, and barely strong enough to lift its head in the cold mountain air. Its down clings damply to its fragile body as it shivers softly in the nest, blind and weak, alive but completely dependent on the care surrounding it. The parent arrives in a flash of emerald color, landing gracefully near the hollow with a bright fruit held carefully in its beak. Quetzal responds with small, eager chirps, opening its mouth toward the only source of warmth, food, and safety it knows. The parent feeds it gently, first with fruit, then with insects, returning again and again to sustain the delicate life growing within the moss-lined chamber. As the days pass, Quetzal begins to change, its tiny body strengthening, its feathers slowly drying and fluffing, its voice growing more confident with each passing moment. The parent cleans the nest, removes debris, and stands guard with unwavering patience, knowing that in a forest this dense, danger can come without warning. Then the sky darkens. Storm clouds gather rapidly above the canopy, and the first heavy drops of rain begin to fall. Within moments, the cloud forest is consumed by a violent mountain storm, with wind howling through the branches and rain pounding the leaves. The parent rushes back and spreads its broad emerald wings over Quetzal, shielding the fragile chick as water streams down its back under flashes of lightning. The storm rages, but the parent holds firm, absorbing every drop and every gust, refusing to surrender the life beneath its wings. When the rain finally passes, sunlight returns through broken clouds, and Quetzal remains safe, dry, and alive beneath the unwavering protection of its parent. But an even greater danger is already approaching. Far below, a green tree snake begins to climb the trunk, its body sliding silently upward through bark and moss, its cold eyes fixed on the hidden nest above. The predator creeps closer, wrapping itself around the trunk, tasting the air with its tongue as it senses the vulnerable chicks waiting above. Quetzal sleeps peacefully, unaware that death is moving steadily toward the nest. Then the parent sees it. In an instant, calm becomes urgency. The parent launches from a distant perch like a green arrow, diving straight down toward the snake before it can strike. The collision is fierce and sudden, a blur of feathers and scales crashing together beside the hollow. The snake hisses and lunges, but the parent attacks without hesitation, slashing with claws, pecking fiercely, and driving the predator away from the nest. Around the tree trunk they battle, circling in a desperate struggle as bark splinters and dry branches snap beneath the force of the fight. The parent grabs the snake firmly by the neck, holding with relentless strength as the predator thrashes violently in the air. The snake twists and lashes against the bark, but the parent refuses to release its grip, fighting with everything it has for the sake of Quetzal. Feathers flash, branches shake, and the forest echoes with the sound of survival as the battle pushes farther and farther from the nest. At last, the snake begins to weaken, its body slipping beneath the unyielding pressure of the parent's grip. With one final pull, the parent drags the predator away from the hollow and sends it falling into the deep green forest far below. The threat is over. The parent lands again, breathing hard but victorious. then returns immediately to check on Quetzal, who remains safe inside the mossy nest. Time moves forward, and the tiny chick that once trembled helplessly in the cold begins to transform into a young forest bird of striking beauty. Soft juvenile feathers give way to brilliant emerald tones, and Quetzal begins to stand proudly at the edge of the hollow, looking down at the endless forest below. The parent calls encouragingly from nearby branches, guiding the young bird step by step toward the next stage of life. Quetzal hops clumsily at first, flapping rapidly to hold balance, but each attempt brings more confidence, more strength, and more control. Soon the young bird dares a longer leap, then another, discovering how the air itself can support and guide its body through the mist. The first true flight comes not all at once, but in fragments of courage, small moments of trust in wings that are finally strong enough to carry it. Gliding through the mist beneath the green canopy with grace and growing power. It spots movement in the air, adjusts its flight path, and performs a swift aerial maneuver to seize its first prey mid-flight. The hunt is successful. A new life has become a true survivor. Landing high on a mossy branch, Quetzal surveys the vast cloud forest below, its emerald feathers catching the light, while the first hints of his signature long tail begin to grow. No longer a fragile hatchling hidden inside a hollow tree, Quetzal now stands as a young ruler of the misty forest, shaped by storms, danger, protection, and instinct. From a pale blue egg resting quietly in a mossy nest to a majestic bird gliding through the ancient canopy, its journey is complete. And deep within the cloud forest, where sunlight, rain, and mist forever meet, the story of Quetzal continues, wild, radiant, and free.